privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Yeah, whatever, man. If only they would stop putting that annoying thing every time that I turn on the thingy. That would be great, YouTube. That would be great. That would be great. Oh, and then they had the other one earlier where they were talking about moderators and stuff. I don't need moderators. I allow people to have freedom of speech on my platform. On my YouTube channel. You can write whatever you want. YouTube doesn't seem to care about that, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so a lot of people thought, well, Marco reviews you conniving, pesky son of a gun. It's not true. You didn't try to do the mail carrier. You're just coming up with random things. Well, just in case you guys wanted to get yourself a shot at becoming a postman, you can use this QR code and sign up yourselves. I don't know if the opportunities are still available because I got kicked out. But you can use this to apply. Again, this is the usual stuff, right? I did it. I tried my best. Put my best foot forward. Because I wanted to be this guy, this friendly guy, just like all the other amazing friendly guys and gals that show up and deliver packages to my door every day. I love these people. I wanted to be one of them. But again, I could talk to any of these guys, as I said before in my previous live stream, and become good friends with them and all that jazz. But as friendly and amazing as they are, they're not the ones in charge of giving people jobs. So even if, they're like, yeah, well, I kind of think you're suited for the position and some, you still have to make it through the internet test. The internet test. But anyway, a couple of things I wanted to say is, I'm going to say it first. The future is beta, brah. The future is beta, brah. It's not. Unfortunately, it's not. They also said the future is female, and unfortunately, that's not true either. It's more true today than it was before, but it's not. But anyway, we're probably not going to get a female president. We're going to have Joe Obama for another 4 years, but that's a different topic of its own. Anyway, you guys should all give me a great thanks and be grateful that because of people like me, not me specifically, but because of people like me, you guys get to be employed full-time all the time and lead beautiful lives. Because as I said before, I'm like that Brad Pitt from Bullet Train. I am the ladybug that keeps you guys employed. I drag and keep all of the negativity to myself so that you guys get to be happy. So with that said, guys, remember Blockbuster? Blockbuster was pretty cool. Pretty cool. This still exists, Dave & Buster's. And lately, I think Tom Lee RC hung out with some of his buddies in the UK version of the Dave & Buster's. And so yeah, that was a pretty fun show. I don't know if you guys saw that video. It's pretty cool. Blockbuster is dead, just like Circuit City is dead. And I don't know if you guys saw that latest and greatest video. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun with Patrick Bet-David and Valuetainment. And this guy, I think his guy's also named David, but it's Pac-Man. Pac-Man, like the video game Pac-Man. It was a very fun thing, although it was kind of annoying because Mr. Pac-Man kept interrupting Mr. Patrick. But it's cool. It's part of the show. It all worked out well. We got some very interesting things that were discussed in that episode. So if you guys want to take that look at that again. The best part about all the things that I tell you guys and that I show on this YouTube channel is that I don't get paid for any of it. I have more experience in job hunting than most people have ever had in their entire lives because I failed and 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 I failed. But I just kept going, because that's what idiots do. I should have just cut my losses early. But anyway, guys, just in case you were wondering, this was me. And I've been very different in many different times of my life. I had short hair. I had long hair. I had basically shaved, almost completely shaved head, and none of that mattered. So a lot of people always say, well, you know what, Mr. Market Reviews, it's because you don't dress nice. I used to dress nice all the time. Well, no, it's Market Reviews. It's because, you don't have the right hair. Like, what's with this ladylike man bun you've got going on over there? Well, when I was applying for jobs, I had short hair, very well coiffed, a beautiful coiffure, as they say. All that jazz, guys. So the people who always try to help you or say that they're going to help you to get where you want to go don't always know what they're talking about. Some of them haven't had to do the job themselves of job hunting for a long time. So if you talk to your grandparents right now, they'll tell you they have no idea what it's like to try to get into the workforce in today's world of technology. Anyway, so with that said, guys, let's go and read a little bit out of this cool book. It's Investment Management, a Science to Teach or an Art to Learn. And I think we were getting to completing the theory yesterday. So let's see what happens. Interesting stuff. Mainstream economics and mainstream economists fail to recognize the existence of bubbles. In an interview, New Yorker columnist John Cassidy, 2010, questioned Eugene Fama about efficient markets and the recent credit bubble in the U.S. housing market. Professor Fama famously replied, "I don't know what a credit bubble means. I don't even know what a bubble means. These words have become popular. I don't think they have any meaning." Nevertheless, attempts have been made to explain market bubbles and crashes within or alongside the existing theory. Among these are attempts to integrate into finance the consideration of liquidity, leverage, and other factors outside classical financial theory and to incorporate psychology, human behavior. The Open University Dr. Oliver commented on the importance of liquidity in explaining large stock market swings. He said, "Until the financial crisis, the role of money was not taken seriously by most economists. Some economists' models of the economy were even constructed without banking system. The role of money, the term used by practitioners is liquidity, needs to be reassessed." Dr. Aller collaborated with Gordon Pepper on the book The Liquidity Theory of Asset Prices, 2006, and teaches the unit on liquidity during a 2-day course titled A Practical History of Financial Markets at Edinburgh Business School. The role of liquidity in the formation of sharp upward and downward market swings is now widely recognized, but will that recognition be enough to complete mainstream finance theory? Some sources we talked to are either not convinced that incorporating liquidity in asset pricing models would improve our theory or models, or consider it too early to tell. Sébastien Léo, professor of finance at Neoma Business School, France, and visiting professor at Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, cautioned, "We should be wary of claims that a single theory or tool can fix our approach to finance. This will take a long time and require significant efforts." It's pretty good. A longer list of what is needed to rethink finance theory to take into consideration the real world was suggested by James Montier, a strategist with fund management GMO. In his manifesto for change in his white paper, The Flaws of Finance 2012, Mr. Montier suggested incorporating together with liquidity, leverage, bad behavior, bad incentives, and delegated management. The role of human behavior in explaining large market swings has been explored by, among others, Professor Schiller. In his recent articles, Bubbles Forever, 2013, on Project Syndicate, Professor Schiller suggested that bubbles might be the best referred to as speculative epidemics. Enthusiasm spreads from person to person and in the process amplifies stories that might justify asset price increases. Schiller explored how Psychological Factors Drive Stock Markets, in his book Irrational Exuberance, first published in 2000 and updated in 2005. One of the biggest issues that we have in a society like we have today is that we have no real benchmarks of what things should cost. I've been talking about this for a long time. Nobody wants to do anything about it. Is this ball supposed to be a certain price? We should have benchmarks in order to understand what this is all about. And it shouldn't be about the stock markets, because the stock markets bring all kinds of things out of whack. You know, like, why should an egg cost $10, for instance? Why should a car cost whatever it is? Shouldn't it be that it is basically the the sum of its parts that makes a car value what it is? You know, so basically you would have to figure out what each part of the car costs and manufacturing and all that stuff and put it together, blah, 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 blah. But we don't have a benchmark system that we have in place to stop people from either like price gauging, so making, let's say, the price of this ball be too high, or undercutting the market. We don't have anything going on in the markets today that is stopping people from, let's say, constantly undercutting the system, making it impossible for, let's say, mom and pop shops who want to pay people fairly and all that stuff, stay in business. We don't have any of that kind of stuff in place, and so we base everything on the stocks and how people. Eli, the computer guy, explains it best, but whatever, at the current time of the transaction, when the money exchanges from one person to the other, that is the current value of that thing, because somebody was willing to put that amount of money into buying that product at the time. So anyway, I didn't know any of this until I started watching his videos. So anyway, that was very interesting for me. Anyway, so Andrew Lo, 2004, professor of finance and director of Laboratory for Financial Engineering at MIT, developed what he calls the adaptive market hypothesis. He argues that markets are not static, but they evolve continuously, not only under the pressure of exogenous events, but also because the competitive action of market participants. Professor Lo suggests that by applying the principles of evolution, competition, adaptation, and natural selection to financial markets, we can explain the behavior of markets. In fact, he compares markets to ecologies. Competing for resources, market participants learn from experience and modify their forecasts and investment strategies to realize a gain. In competing for resources, the action of market participants tends to keep markets efficient while creating new opportunities for profit. Note that together with Lars Peters Hansen, professor of economics at the University of Chicago, and core recipient of 2013 Nobel Prize in Economics, Professor Lo co-directs the macro financial modeling group at the Becker-Friedman Institute. The group consists of a network of macroeconomists working to develop improved models of the links between financial markets and the real economy in the wake of 2007-2009 financial crisis, a link that sources mentioned is lacking in today's theory. One attempt to establish a historical link between the economy and markets and predict the next growth cycle was recently made by Hans-Georg Nomer, head of capital markets and thematic research at Alliance Global Investors. Using the Russian economist Nikolai Kondratiev's theory of long waves of boom busts, business cycles, and stock market data from Robert Shiller's Irrational Exuberance 2005 and DataStream, Mr. Nomer overlaid a rolling 10-year yield on the S&P 500 index on Kondratiev's 5 long waves. See figure 1.1, which is probably later on in the book. Mr. Nomer's link is of an economic nature, that is, it associates long-term stock market trends with long business cycles. This link is different from the cycles implied by Minsky's financial instability of hypothesis, which links the economy, financial markets, and the money generation process. Let's see. I'm going to show you guys the picture here of Kondratyev's 5 waves from 1780 to 2010 and the rolling 10-year yield on the S&P 500 that you guys keep hearing. One of my favorite things to do back in the day was watch Bloomberg's financial channel, and for a while I didn't understand any of the numbers or anything like that, but it was just interesting to listen to that until it became all political. Everything went wild. Everything went wild when politics got in the way. And I actually kind of highly respected Mr. Bloomberg before he went into politics. Then it just went all south after that. But before then, I was a big fan of Bloomberg. And again, I tell you guys sometimes, I'll talk about some of the people who are not pundits, but actual real researchers and people who were reporting the news. There were 2 that were my favorite, was Emily Chang and Matt Miller. 2, again, nice people. So they're not all bad. The problem is nowadays, you see what you see. Anyway, so finance theory as physics and envy. Physics and envy. All right, so one might ask, can the debate on tenability of today's financial theory be resolved with the methods of empirical science? Will the debate remain at the level of dogma as with the conflict between different views of political economics? Or will the debate remain at the epistemological level, centered on the question of what the cognitive value of a model that in the best case captures only some general features of the real economy and real markets? As mentioned previously, Lucas maintains that we will never have a set of models that forecast sudden falls in the value of financial assets. He's referring to sure deterministic predictions. But mainstream economic and finance theories do make probabilistic predictions. The problem is that testing predictions is difficult when samples are small and noise abounds. In his famous paper Noise, the later Fisher-Black, 1986, wrote, "Noise makes it very difficult to test either practical or academic theories about the way that financial or economic markets work. We are forced to act largely in the dark. Do we have a science? Would you feel safe flying if you knew that there were linear differential equations that describe an airplane's structure, but that no such equations can be identified? The abstract mathematical knowledge that structures can be described by linear differential equations allows one to neither engineer nor study any real structure. Yet this knowledge is the knowledge embedded in general equilibrium models. One objection to this critique is that we can have an understanding of economics that cannot be formalized in a mathematical model. This objection is likely to be true. The Wright brothers, who were bicycle mechanics, designed their airplanes as if they had the mathematical knowledge of the structure, but the objection does not lend any support to mainstream models. If we can describe economic behavior without models, we do not need general equilibrium theories. Ultimately, the debate on general equilibrium models in economics and finance theory may be empty. Clearly, general equilibrium models are not empirically validated in terms of characteristics and interactions of real agents. Given any asset pricing model that does not admit arbitrage, however, we can always formulate an equivalent abstract general equilibrium model. In classic physics, the laws of motion can be expressed either through differential equations or through the minimization of a functional, the Hamiltonian or Lagrangian. The predictive power of physics depends on the fact that we know how to write Hamiltonian and Lagrangian terms. The mere existence of Hamiltonian function does not, however, add to our understanding of a physical phenomenon. So with that, guys, that's enough for today, because I'm sure your brains might have exploded by now. If you guys are in the the network. No, sorry, not in the network. If you guys are in the mood for some really good Thai cuisine, look at this. This is Sudha Kitchen, one of my absolute favorite places to go to eat. And the coolest thing about it is that none of the money that you go and spend in that beautiful place goes to me. So you can continue the age-long journey of sticking it to this boy. What's a boy to do? I'm gonna read you a couple of words from this because it's fun. It's Italian. Nobody cares about Italian. You know, people think that Italians are clowns most of the time because of Berlusconi. Berlusconi made us all look like idiots. Anyway, so yeah, politics. Italians are all stupid and jesters, apparently. All right, so today we're going to talk about glasses or cups, whatever. I bicchieri. Diamo qui un elenco dei principali bicchieri in cui vengono generalmente serviti I cocktail. Tumbler, which is in American words, because we use a lot of American words in Italy too. Bicchieri, cilindrico o leggermente quadrato convenzionalmente diviso in due tipologie in base l'altezza. Il tumbler, I'm going to say it in Italian funny. Il tumbler basso è utilizzato per molte bevande che si servono su ghiaccio, succhi aperitivi. Il tumbler alto si utilizza invece per bibite e long drink. Old fashioned. È simile per forma al tumbler basso, anche se presenta leggermente più bombato. Ha gli stessi utilizzi e viene preferito in casa in caso di guarnizioni importanti. La coppetta. Tipico bicchiere con stelo e a corpo conico usato per cocktail short drink. Doppia coppetta, coppetta di maggiore capacità per short drinks. Tulipano grande, bicchiere con stelo a corpo ovale utilizzato per il servizio dell'Irish coffee. And yes, that's Irish coffee. Coppa, bicchiere a bocca larga usato prevalentemente per spumanti dolci. Awesome. One more page, because you love it. You love it, don't you? Bicchiere da punch, anche chiamato tumbler per hot drink. È un bicchiere senza stelo a corpo cilindrico munito di manico per il servizio di bevande calde. Ricordiamo poi bicchiere per bevande calde, bicchiere per frappè e frullati. Bicchieri da long drink che possono avere diverse forme e capienze. Bicchieri da liquore, bicchieri a tulipano per vini, bicchieri a tulipano grande o ballon per cognac e brandy, tumbler alto o medio per succhi e aperitivi che all'occorrenza può sostituirsi al tumbler basso. Leggenda dei bicchieri. Per ognuno dei cocktail e aperitivi presenti nelle prossime pagine consigliamo il bicchiere di utilizzo. Resta comunque inteso che il barman potrà variarlo secondo il gusto e l'estro. Awesome. I'm going to show you a bunch of funny things that we just talked about here. I don't know if it's even visible because it's hard to see right now with the sun in my eyes, but hopefully you guys can read that. It's all in Italian, so you won't know what I'm talking about, but it's cool. It's cool. All right, so tulipano grande o ballon, bicchiere da long drink, bicchiere per vini liquorosi, bicchiere da Irish coffee, flute, bicchiere da grog, tumbler alto o medio, old fashioned o tumbler basso, coppa da champagne, coppetta da cocktail, doppia coppetta da cocktail. Awesome. I'm going to show you this cool picture, and we will continue on from there maybe tomorrow if I feel like it. So I could decide to fire myself and never show up on YouTube again. You guys would be so sad. I know. I could feel your tears if I didn't show up tomorrow for my YouTube job. All right, so the 10 stages of diagnostics and therapeutics in traditional Chinese medicine. Here it is. Here it is. Feel free to make videos about this video explaining to me all the words that I screw up thanks to my speech impediment, and let me know how to say it properly in Chinese and everything, because that is actually something good that you could do for YouTube. You can make YouTube a better place by collaborating with me. And so when people actually watch my videos, they'll be able to understand what's supposed to be said in Chinese and stuff, because I can't help you guys with any of this beautiful language that you see right there. Can't read it, can't do anything with it. But you can, and you could help if you wanted to. Anyway, so Professor Zhang Chang-un L and Professor Deng Tietao R, who is the eminent authority on TCM. The author and translators front Professor, what is it, the same? They're just going to go through the same thing. You guys can read it yourselves there. It's legible, isn't it? It better be. It better be. Tim's been working on it. My favorite chef has been working on it with his buddies. Anyway, so born at Jizhuo in Hebei Province, China in 1936, Professor and Chief Physician Zhang Chang-un learned family lore in TCM from early childhood, then apprenticed. Can't do this, guys. To the respectable masters Hu Yishu, Chen Shenwu, and Zong Weixin. As the former director of the teaching and researching section of the treatise on cold-induced diseases and the Department of TCM in College of TCM, Capital Medical University, he has been teaching, researching, and clinically practicing TCM for over 50 years. That's longer than I've been alive. Anyway, from learning and advocating the doctrine of the medical sage Zhang Zhongjing, he is an expert at using classical formulas of TCM and at applying the treatment of difficult and chronic diseases, can't do diseases today, with marked curative effects. He has more than 60 dissertations published, as well as 18 books compiled, including the masterpieces of Chinese formula syndromes and exposition to Zhang Zhongjing's medicine administration. Valuing and wanting to pass on the knowledge of TCM, Professor Zhang devotes himself to the personal training of TCM for the younger generation and has won the Lin Zhongjiang's Medical Education Prize from the China International Medical Exchange Foundation. There it is. There it is. Look how cool this is, guys. This is stuff that you can't get here in America. I went all the way to China to buy this. Anyway. The 10 stages of diagnostics and therapeutics in traditional Chinese medicine. Chinese and English, totaling 10 chapters compiled by Professor Zhang Chang-un and reflecting his 50 years of experience in teaching and clinical practice, concentrating on categorizing the extensive and profound knowledge into 10 procedures. The book presents presentation of the symptoms and pulses, synthesis of the 4 diagnostics, estimation of the disease field, syndrome differentiation of various diseases, syndrome identification with 8 principles, distinction of formula syndromes, formation of therapeutic principles, draft for therapeutic methods, selection of formulas and drugs, observation and nursing after treatment. It summarizes the theories, methods, formulas, and drugs involved in the content of the canons of TCM, the science of Chinese materia medica, the science of prescriptions in various clinical subjects, This book is a concise reference book about diagnostics and therapeutics in TCM, and popular science book for interested readers and foreigners to understand TCM. Very cool, guys. So tomorrow we're going to continue on from there, but you can all read this bit because you understand Chinese. I don't. And you can all help me translate this, if you will. Or not. Or not. It's hard being a content creator in 2023, isn't it? It's hard. All right, guys, as always, before we go, the coolest thing that you can do today is buy yourself this book. The best thing is all the money doesn't go to me. You can keep sticking it to me because I'm pesky and conniving and son of a gunny. But you can help somebody who's actually doing some really good stuff in the world. And here you go, Grandmaster Tom Wong. Grandmaster Tom Wong. You can buy this off of Amazon. Again, I'm going to get zero money, zero proceeds from this, just like everything else that I show you guys on the channel, because I'm stupid and idealistic. But anyway, again, as I said before, thanks for watching. If you don't know what this book is and you can't read, I'll read it for you. Secret Origin of Wing Chun. You can find it on Amazon. Just type it in. Got fingers? Type it in. Anyway, with that said, guys, thanks again for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Take care.